Hello, I will be reading the next chapter in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And this chapter is called A Caucus Race and a Long Tail. And here we have a picture to start us off. So they were a strange looking group of wet creatures. The birds' feathers were drenched and the animal's fur was clinging to them. The first question, of course, was how to get dry. They all talked this over and Alice joined in as if she had known them all her life. At last, the dodo rose solemnly to his feet and said, "I move that the meeting be over for the immediate adoption of an energetic remedy." "Speak English," said the eaglet. "I don't understand anything you just said, and I don't think you do either." The eaglet bent down its head to hide a smile. "What I was going to say," said the dodo, "was that the best thing to get us dry would be a caucus race." "What is a caucus race?" said Alice. "Why," said the dodo, "the best way to explain it is to do it." The dodo marked out a race course. It was a sort of circle, and then everyone was placed along the course here and there. There was no 1, 2, 3, go, but everyone began running when they liked and stopped when they liked, so that it was not easy to know when the race was over. However, when they had been running half an hour or so and were quite dry again, the dodo suddenly called, "The race is over," and they all crowded around it, panting and asking, "Who has won?" The dodo thought and declared, "Everybody has won, and everybody must have prizes." "But who is going to give the prizes?" a chorus of voices asked. "Why, she is, of course," said the dodo, pointing to Alice with one finger. Here we have a picture of them running and then stopping in the caucus circle. The whole party crowded around her, calling out, "Prizes, prizes." Alice had no idea what to do, and in despair she put her hand in her pocket and pulled out a box of candies, which had stayed nicely dry. She handed them round as prizes. There was exactly one for each of them. "But she must have a prize herself, you know," said the mouse. "Of course," the dodo replied. "What else have you got in your pocket?" it went on, turning to Alice. "Only a thimble," said Alice sadly. "Hand it over here," said the dodo. And here we have a picture of Alice looking in her pocket for a thimble. They all crowded around her once more, while the dodo presented the thimble, saying, "We beg you to accept this thimble." When it had finished the speech, they all cheered. Alice thought the whole thing was very strange, but she bowed and took the thimble, looking as serious as she could. Then they sat down in a circle and begged the mouse to tell them a story. "You promised to tell me your story, you know," said Alice, "about why you hate seas," she said in a whisper, afraid that she would upset him again. "Mine is a long and sad tale," said the mouse, turning to Alice and sighing. Alice looked at the mouse's tail. "It is a long tale," said Alice, "but why do you call it sad?" And she kept wondering about it while the mouse was speaking, and this is what she saw in her mind while the mouse told its story. "Furry said to a mouse that he met in the house, 'Let us both go to the law. I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial. We must have a trial, for really this morning I've nothing to do.' Said the mouse to the cat, 'Such a trial as that, with no jury or judge, would be wasting our breath. I'll be judge, I'll be jury,' purred cunning old Furry. 'I'll try the whole case and put you to death.'" And this is what Alice saw in her head when the mouse was telling the story. "You're not listening," said the mouse to Alice angrily. "What are you thinking of?" "I beg your pardon," said Alice very humbly. "You had gone to the 5th curve of your tail, I think." And this is Alice right here apologizing to the mouse. "I had not," cried the mouse angrily. "A knot?" said Alice. "Oh, do let me help to undo it." "I shall do nothing of the sort," said the mouse, getting up and walking away. "You have insulted me by talking such nonsense." "I didn't mean it," said Alice. The mouse only growled in reply. "Please come back and finish your story." Alice called out to it, and all the others joined in chorus. "Yes, please do." But the mouse only shook its head and walked away quickly. "What a pity," said Laurie. An old crab said to her daughter, "Let this be a lesson to you never to lose your temper." "Hold your tongue, Ma," said the young crab a little snappishly. "You're enough to try the patience of an oyster." I wish I had Dinah here, said Alice out loud to nobody in particular. She would bring the mouse back. And who is Dinah, if I might ask, said the lorry. Alice replied eagerly, Dinah's my cat. She's very good at catching mice. And here's a picture of all of them talking. And oh, you should see her catch birds. Why, she'll eat a little bird as soon as she looks at it. This made the creatures uncomfortable. Some of the birds flew away immediately. An old magpie quickly gathered itself and said, I really must be getting home. And the canary called out in a trembling voice to its children, Come away, my dears, it's time you were all in bed. Alice was soon left alone. I wish I hadn't mentioned Dinah. Nobody seems to like her down here. I wonder if I will ever see her anymore. Alice began to cry again, for she felt lonely. In a while, she heard a little pattering of footsteps. She looked up eagerly, hoping that the mouse had changed his mind and was coming back to finish his story. And here's a picture of all the birds and animals flying away when Alice talked about Dinah. And that's the end of chapter 3. So, write down all the characters that you remember from this chapter. There was a lot of characters in this chapter. So there were a lot of birds. There was a dodo, an eaglet. Let's see. There was a mouse. There was a crab. Also there was Alice. And yeah, and then the daughter of the crab too. There was also, let's see, a canary. And a magpie. So those, and a lorry. So those were all the characters in this chapter. So make sure to write them all down and tell someone your favorite part of this chapter. Thank you.